So in my previous class I have started a new chapter, that is biodiversity and conservation, right? So do you have any queries related to the previous day's part? Okay, very good. So today I will continue the chapter. So in my previous day I have started with the different type of diversity and how many species are there on the earth and how many in India. We have seen all these part, and only one paragraph is left. Today I will start with this paragraph. So we have seen that the global biodiversity, different amount, the number of different vertebrates, invertebrates. Okay, so in India, as we know that India has only 2.5% of the world's land area. Just imagine India is having only 2.4% of world's land area, and its share of the global species diversity is an impressive 8.1%. Okay, it's very impressive that it is 8.1%. That is what makes our country one of the 12 mega diversity countries of the world. Okay, we are having very less amount of land area, but our biodiversity is very high. That is why it is very impressive. Nearly 45,000 species of plants and twice as many of animals have been recorded from India. So about 45,000 species of animals and 90,000 species of animals, near about or more than 90,000 have been reported from only India. And from this, and many species, as you know that many insects are not still discovered, and so many animals which are under the sea still not discovered. Okay, so we accept, if we accept that means global estimate only 22% of the total species have been recorded so far. Only 22% have been recorded so far, and applying this proportion to India's diversity figure, we estimate that there are probably more than 1 lakh plant species and more than 3 lakh animal species yet to be discovered and described. More than 1 lakh yet to be discovered and more than 3 lakh yet to be discovered. Just imagine the number. Okay, and not only discovered, it also description also be needed. Okay. So, would you ever be able to complete the inventory of the biological wealth of our country? No, right? It's not possible right now. So, from these we can understand that what is the condition of biodiversity in case of India. It is rich in biodiversity. Okay, but the situation is quite more hopeless when we realize that a large fraction of these species faces the threat of becoming extinct even before we discover them. Still many species we haven't discovered, but the condition is like that. Before discovery of this species, they may get vanished, or they are under great threat. Okay, so nature's biological library is burning even before we catalogued the titles of all books stocked there. So that is why the name of the chapter is biodiversity and conservation. That is another main issue for which we have to conserve our biodiversity. Okay. Now we have to, next topic we have to know the patterns of biodiversity. Okay, so first one we will read about the latitudinal gradients, and then another important relationship I will talk about, that is species area relationship. The species area relationship very important. So first, if I consider that, if you see the map, or the globe, you will find some latitude, longitude, right? So latitudinal, according to the latitudinal gradients, what will be the diversity of the plants and animals? First we have to see. So as you know that the number of the species or the biodiversity is quite less in the polar region, and it is quite high near, it is where they are getting appropriate and sunlight, that means near about the equator region. You know the meaning of temperate region and tropical region, and you also know that why the number of biodiversity is having difference in these two regions. Okay, so the diversity of plants and animals is not uniform throughout the world, okay, but shows a rather uneven distribution. So we can see that in a particular area or particular space, some species, some plants will be abundant, or in a other area different other animal and plant species will be abundant. Okay, so the most well known being latitudinal gradient in diversity. There are interesting patterns of biodiversity can be found. Okay, so in general, species diversity decreases as we move away from the equator towards the pole. Already I have mentioned that near the equator the species diversity will be reached because the temperature is appropriate and the other conditions are appropriate. That is why the biodiversity will be more near the equator. But at the polar region you can find that most of the days time it is covered with snow, so they are not getting proper vegetation, proper sunlight. That is why the number of species towards the pole is quite less. Okay, so with very few exceptions, tropics harbor more species than temperate or polar regions. So as I already mentioned this also, that in the tropical region we will find the different number of species, that means biodiversity, the richness will be high in the tropical region than in the temperate region. Now some example I will tell you which has been provided by NCERT, that like Colombia, located near the equator, has nearly 1400 species of birds, while New York at 40° north has 105 species and Greenland at 71° north only 56 species. India, with much of its land area in the tropical latitudes, has more than 1200 species of birds. A forest in tropical region like Ecuador has up to 10 times as many species of vascular plant as a forest of equal area in the temperate region like Midwest of the USA. So these are the some information. These are the some information according to the different place, that what is the number of species that can be found in different areas. So you have to just remember the information so that you can give one example if these type of questions may be asked in your exam. And another is that the largely tropical Amazonian rainforest in South America has the greatest biodiversity on earth. It is home to more than 40,000 species of plants, 3,000 of fishes, 1,300 of birds and 427 of mammals, 427 of amphibians and 378 of reptiles, and more than 1,25,000 invertebrates. This is another example. They have mentioned some average numbers of invertebrates, birds, humans and other animals, so that you can get a clear idea about the species, that means where and which places and why the number of species is high. Okay, so scientists also estimated that in this rainforest there might be at least 2 million insect species waiting to be discovered and named. Okay, near about 2 million species of insects waiting to be discovered, and their naming is also left. Okay, So, ecologists and evolutionary biologists have proposed various hypotheses. Some important ones are the speciation is generally a function of time. Okay, so for this difference in the different area, different hypotheses, some ecologists, environmentalists has been provided. That means why in some places the number is quite high and why it is quite low. Okay. So as if one thing I have already discussed, that tropical environments are unlike temperate ones, are less seasonal, relatively more constant and predictable. Okay, that is why that they will promote, they will ensure more number of species in that particular area and more availability of the solar energy. Okay, these are providing for the high productivity. Okay, thus in turn might contribute indirectly to greater diversity. If productivity will be high, the diversity also will be high, right? So these are the some forces which are acting on those particular area where this type of diversity can be found. Okay, so these are the patterns of diversity on the basis of latitudinal gradient. So why on the latitudinal gradient? Because according to the latitude you can find that diversity will be different, and what are the different reasons already I have mentioned. And the next important part is the species area relationship. Sorry. So next part is that species area relationship. So during this phenomenon, we will during the pioneering and extensive exploration in the wilderness of South America jungles, a great German naturalist and geographer Alexander von Humboldt observed that within a region species richness increased with increasing the explored area, but only up to a limit. So you have to remember the name of the geographer or the great naturalist who has observed this species area relationship, and what he has observed, that the species richness, that means the number of species will be high. That means the species richness will be increased according which, and this is related to the available area, but this increment will be up to some limit. Okay, so I am repeating that he has proposed that, or he has observed that within a region species richness increased with increasing explored area, but up to a limit. Okay, so this is the main point you have to remember. So in fact, in the relation between the species richness and the area for a wide variety of angiosperm, plants, birds, bats, freshwater fishes turns to be regular hyperbola. You know, you have read about the hyperbola, parabola, so it will be hyperbola, and if we put it in the logarithmic scale, the relationship is a straight line. So first, what is the relationship? We can say that A is proportional to A. So what is the meaning of S? S is the species richness and A is the area. Now if we remove these proportional, so we have to make a keep a constant, and then what we will write? S is equal to C A to the power Z. Now if we put a log scale, then what we will get? Log S is equal to log Z, log S is equal to log C. First we will write the log C part, log C plus Z log A. If we put a logarithmic scale, then we will find this type of equation. Okay, so now if I consider this one, So we will get a hyperbola. So how we have to draw? It will be like that. That means according to the available area, the species richness will be increased, but it will be up to some limit. After reaching this limit, the increment will not be there. So okay. So this hyperbola is indicating this equation. But and what we have to write in these two x and y axis? Here will be the area, and from this side it will be species richness. Okay, this side will be species richness. Now if I put this logarithmic scale, we will get a straight line. So as you can remember, y is equal to mx plus c, right? So it is a straight line equation. So we are putting this as the straight line equation. Okay. So this is considered as, so it is a log scale, and if we want to put this into this, so we can get that y is equal to mx plus c, and we can make a straight line. Okay, as you know, so this is the formula of the straight line. So, and what is the meaning of c? C means y intersect. You can see y intersect, and z is the slope of the line. And already I have mentioned the meaning of the S and A. So ecologists have discovered that the value of the ZZ line will be in the range of between 0.1 to 0.2. Okay, regardless of the taxonomic group or the region. So from this, but if you analyze the species area relationship among very large areas like entire countries, you will find that the slope of the line will be much steeper. Okay, if you take the example of quite large area, then the slope will be the much steeper. That means z values in the range of the z value will be 0.6 to 1.2. So in the previous one, it was 0.1 to 0.2. Now if we consider the large area, then it will be 0.6 to 1.2. Okay. So for example, some fruit eating birds and mammals in the tropical forest of different countries, the slope found in this particular species is 1.15. Okay. So that is the main relationship between the species richness and area. I am repeating, that is the main relationship between the species richness and area. And these graph and the equations, this topic, that means the species area relationship, is very important for your exam. Okay. So for today that's it. In my next class I will complete the chapter. So up to this portion clear, Sujata? Any doubt? If you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, so thank you and bye bye.